Hey guys, it's Robin, Artist Island Crafts, and welcome to my craft room. I am getting ready to start my next hand embroidery project, and several of you asked if I just bring you guys along from start to finish and we can go ahead and stitch along together. The one I chose for us is you can choose any embroidery pattern you want. I wanted to find one that had a variety of stitches. I am using, this is called the Floral Heart Embroidery pattern. It goes in a 6-inch hoop, and it is from cutesy-crafts.com. Now you have to sign up with your email and then you get access to the free patterns, and she has lots of free patterns. You can pick any one of hers if you'd like, or you can choose a pattern anywhere you want online. You can find things on Etsy, you can find free embroidery designs. When I search, I use the word hand embroidery because there's a lot of machine embroidery patterns, and that's not the same thing. They're beautiful, but it's not going to be for us. We're going to be doing all ours by hand. I have a little blue tape on mine because I like to tape this on the wall right in front of where I sit and embroider and stitch. That way I can look up and I can see all the different things that they suggest to do here, and maybe how many threads we're going to use, how many strands. This is the recommended colors. This lady is really good. She goes ahead and gives you all the recommended colors that she used, and don't think she tells you exactly where to put them. Nope, you get to choose where you put your colors, but she does have a list of the ones she chose. So if you look at her finished product, you can kind of go by that. If you like exactly how hers look, you can pretty well guess, because you're going to be able to tell the difference between blue and light pink and yellow and purple and green, light green, dark green. It's a variety of colors. I tend not to use the suggested colors. Now, I probably do use them, but I don't pay attention to it. I just go ahead and get my pattern all ready, bring out my floss and lay it down next to me, and I'm like, oh, I like purple flowers, so let's make a purple flower. Oh, I already have a purple flower, so now I'm going to make a yellow flower. Kind of things like that, and to see how the colors blend together and they work. Any way you want to do it, it's your project. You do it any way you would like. I'm just going to walk you through it as I would do it. So I thought in this video I would just show you the supplies that you're going to need, and if I forget anything, I'm really sorry about that, but we'll learn about them as we go along. Most of these things you can purchase at Walmart, Joann's, or Michael's, and of course you can always find them on Amazon. So I'll give you guys about a week to go ahead and start gathering your supplies, and then we'll start up. So we have our pattern. That's like the hardest part for me, is to figure out what pattern I'm going to do. I really like that this is in a heart shape, but it has leaves and flowers in it. It's just one of those strange things. There's no hearts or anything in it. So I'm going to do that, and it allows me to use a lot of different stitches. Now this goes into a 6-inch hoop, so you're pretty much looking, you're going to trace this pattern. It's the finished size. So however you print it out, I don't worry that like maybe if it prints a little bit larger or a little bit smaller, you know how printers can kind of do it to fit page or something like that. I don't worry about it. However it prints out, that's the size I'm going to do. So you guys go to her website. I'll put a link down below, and you go ahead and download that free pattern, because I'm not going to be sharing the pattern here. I want you guys to go to her website. She has a lot of patterns. I'm slowly starting to purchase them little by little because I really like the way she designs things. So we have our pattern. Let's set this off to the side. Now this is going to be in a 6-inch hoop. You could buy a 6-inch hoop and it'll fit perfectly. I like to go with an 8-inch hoop, and my preference is the plastic hoops, but now this isn't a 6-inch hoop. Look at that. This is a 6-inch wooden hoop. So I like mine to be just a bit bigger. So if you put this down like this, you're going to see it's going to fit in a hoop just perfectly. Now if I were going to use this to hang it up as a decoration, then that's wonderful. I would go ahead and do that. I tend to like to do different things with mine. So I'm going to use an 8-inch hoop because I like to have that extra space around there. And I know everything's going to fit nicely. It's not going to be too far to one side or the other. And I have plenty of room to work. So you do whatever you want. You can get a 6-inch, 8-inch. I would try to avoid going much bigger than an 8-inch because you really don't need a giant 12-inch hoop. Remember, when we're holding this, we're going to be holding it and stitching. And if you have this really giant hoop, it makes it a little bit harder to hold it, because we're going to be stitching in hand. Well, we're going to be stitching with a hoop, but we're not going to put our hoop in a stand. We're just going to hold it in our hands like this. So you go to the store, once again, Walmart, Joann's, Michael's, Amazon. You can easily find these. I like like I said, I like the plastic ones. They have this little lip right here, and it just seems to hold my fabric in nice and tight. A wooden hoop, the fabric tends to loosen up. You can take it, and what they do, I know we're getting a little off here, but you guys know how I am. They take this inside hoop, see this one has the ring to tighten it on the outside, this inside hoop, and they wrap it with ribbon or a piece of cotton fabric. And then when you put your fabric in and you tighten it down, it holds it in really nice and it keeps it from slipping. So you can either go ahead and use the wooden one. Like I said, I just prefer to have the plastic ones. And it's got that big old number 8 right on there, so I know exactly what size it is. Pattern and our hoops. I just went out and purchased some new needles. I purchased these chenille size 24. I like these because they have the sharp end. You have to have a sharp end for this. If you have a blunt end, you're going to have a very difficult time getting your needle to go through your fabric. I picked the chenille ones. These are the ones I'm trying. This is what they recommend online a lot. And I'm getting these because they have, see how they have that nice big eye in them right there? I'm thinking that I'm going to easily be able to fit 6 strands of embroidery floss through that. We'll find out when I first start stitching and how well that works. But because it has that nice sharp point to it, the size of your needle needs to be at least the size of whatever you're going to be pulling it through, because your needle is going to make the hole in the fabric and it's going to pull your embroidery floss down through it, so it's going to start the hole. And then your fabric will close back around. You don't want it too big or too small. So anything that you can fit 6 strands of embroidery floss that has a pointed end is going to be the needle you want. When we trace our patterns, we're going to be tracing it onto fabric. I like to use the Friction pen. This disappears with heat. Big controversy in the embroidery and quilting world. Half the people love them, half the people hate them. You take it for what it is. You could also use a water-soluble marker. Now, I have never used these. This was given to me in a kit of some things. You trace it around with this little blue tip, and then you have to get it wet to remove it. A lot of people also use a mechanical pencil. A few of us, our favorites are the Bic. It draws on the fabric very, very nicely, and if you don't press too hard, you can actually erase it if you need to. So I prefer the Bic mechanical pencils when I use one. I've really switched over almost 100% to the Friction. If I were doing a project, let's say I was doing it on black fabric and it was all white, if I was using only white embroidery floss, then I probably wouldn't use this, because there's too much of a chance of it possibly showing through if I can't use my iron to get it all off. But for a project like this, there's a lot going on. I want to make sure I can see it, I can trace it easily, and if a little piece sticks out, it's probably not even going to be noticeable if my iron doesn't remove it. So you need something to be able to trace with. Some people use chalk. It's going to be a personal preference. You might need to test a few things different out. Some people are really wild and crazy, and they use the washable Crayola school markers. They're really fine tipped ones because they wash out of kids' clothes. They're also going to wash out of your cotton fabric. But it's totally up to you. Do a little search on YouTube on how to transfer a design for an embroidery project, and you're going to get a lot of different opinions. Just see which one feels right to you and go ahead and try it out. Chances are you're going to try a few different ones out throughout the year throughout this whole process until you figure out what you like. Then there's fabric. Fabric choice is up to you. Whatever you're going to be able to, like, let's say you just want to do this all in reds or all in whites or blacks or whatever, then you want to make sure if you use all white thread, you're not going to be using a white fabric. So whatever fabric you're going to like in your background, because you're going to see it in this general area around, and all in these little spots here, you're going to be seeing that fabric. So whatever color you decide to use. Now for the variety of colors of floss we're going to be using, it'll pop against this white really nicely. And this white, it has, can you see it has that, like, it's a white on white swirl. There is a white on white swirl pattern. I like this fabric a lot for my embroideries because it's not a plain dull white like a white sheet. which I don't recommend using sheets for this. It's really hard to get your needle through a sheet because of the way the thread count is, especially a lot of the times with like a cheap Walmart sheet, it's really kind of hard to get your needle through with the embroidery floss. You can try it, but just be prepared that you might have to switch to something else. But I really like this white fabric because it adds that little extra dimension with the swirls. But you can use a solid, or you can use one of these marbled mottled. This is a nice pretty blue. So if you want to have like a blue sky background, this works good. I'm not sure. I might do a green or a red. I haven't decided on my fabric yet. I do have some plain solid whites that I might just stick with that so that you'll be able to easily see everything that I'm doing. Now, if you're going to be using a white fabric or a thinner fabric, then you're going to want to get some interfacing. I purchased this really thin fusible interfacing. I'm pretty sure that this is what I've purchased on this roll that is, let me see. So I have this really thin fusible. You see how really lightweight and thin it is? Now I have this rolled around this cardboard, and I believe that it's rolled around the proper cardboard because I'll purchase it by the yards at Joann's and bring it home and just wrap it around here. Try and see if P44F, it's only 99 cents a yard, and if you use your 40 or 50% off coupon, this stuff is on sale all the time. Just make sure before you purchase it that it's this nice and thin. I'm pretty sure that this P44F is really lightweight, but please don't 100% go by this because, as I'm saying, I'm not 100% sure that that's what this is. I'm going to go ahead and look it up when I get off of here and make sure if I change what it is, I'll put it down here for you guys. But you want something that's really, really thin and lightweight. Now, the purpose of this is if you use a lightweight fabric, it's going to add an extra bulk to it and help keep it firm for you so you're not having a wobbly thin fabric. But if you're using white fabric, anytime if you're going across your vine, if you have a little tail sticking out, or let's say you want to do this vine and then you want to come over and do the same color for this stem over here, if you were to go from here to here, you're going to see it through your white fabric. But if you go ahead and put this interfacing on the back of it, it's going to stop that from shadowing through. And you don't want to carry your thread for more than like an inch or so. Like you would never go from here and then go all the way over here and do this flower. But if, like I said, if you want to go and finish this stem and then do the same color right here, you can do that without cutting your thread. And this will help stabilize your fabric. It'll keep the colors from shadowing through on the back, and it'll give you that extra support that you need. Now you can do it without it. You can also put two pieces of fabric together if you want. Depending on your weight of your fabric, like this gray fabric right here. I know it's kind of hard to see on a video, but this gray fabric, you can't see through it too easily. It's a bit thicker and stiffer. So maybe if I were to use this one, I might not use a stabilizer at all. I'm not worried about my colors showing through, and I feel that this doesn't have a lot of stretch to it in either direction. So whatever kind of fabric this is, I really don't think I would use a stabilizer with it at all. But something that's a little bit thinner. That fabric stretched. Ah, there it is, cross grain robin. So yeah, this one's a little bit thinner than the gray, so I would probably use stabilizer for that one. Totally up to you. If you don't have it, don't worry about purchasing it. We can do without. This is a practice one. There's other ways to take care of that situation if you need be. Now the fun part. This is the part that can get you in trouble. The embroidery floss. I've been given a container of embroidery floss, so I have a lot more colors than I did to start with. I think I have 4 of these full now. So you can go crazy buying it. I think right now it's 54, 59 cents at Joann's. But take your pattern. You can take a colored pencil and maybe color in where you want it. Look at hers and just go ahead and start with these colors to start with. These are your DMC embroidery numbers, your embroidery floss numbers. Okay, like see this one is DMC 312, blue 312. So you would just go ahead and ordering it online is real easy, but if you were to go to one of your craft stores, go to where all the embroidery floss is, just look down the bins for 312. Now what I recommend is if you're going to go to Michael's or Joann's to purchase this, when you look at the bin and it says 312 on the front and you pull that skein of floss out, make sure you look at the bottom and the number matches, because a lot of times they get mixed up. Kids help their parents, or people just stick them back wherever. They fall on the floor, people pick them up and stick them in. Blue's blue, what do they care, right? So if you're picking 312, make sure that the number that's on here, that's on your little drawer, when you look at it, it's on your floss also. So that's all it is. You could just easily take this list to the store, or you can just kind of grab a bunch. Now, what I started doing embroidery, Michael's has these, or I think Joann's has them too, but I do a lot of shopping at Michael's. They have these little packets, and they have tons of different colors. They're a generic, they're Michael's brand, they're not DMC or anything like that. But for projects like this, it's not cross-stitch. I don't mind using the generic colors. I have some of those in here, but if you want to get a whole bunch of colors in one spot, I've seen them anywhere from $5 to $20, depending on how many skeins and what type it is. Okay, so here is the brand I usually get at Michael's. It's called Iris. There's an Iris, and if you look at the DMC, of course these are two different colors, but DMC might have a little bit more of a shine to it. But the Iris ones are perfectly fine. I do a lot of projects with this. I sew all kinds of things with this and all kinds of embroidery projects, and it doesn't bother me that it's generic. So it's totally up to you. You can go and individually pick out a few different colors, and you can always go back up to the store and get more. This is going to take us a few weeks to go through this whole process, because we're only going to do a little section every time we do it, whether it's one stitch or a few different stitches. So you can pick up a multi-pack of one at the craft store. You can find them at the thrift store. You just want to look and make sure your thread doesn't look too old if you're purchasing it at thrift store. I've looked for them at the thrift stores, and a lot of times you can purchase them in either little Ziploc bags or these boxes now. And they're charging you a lot of money because they think you're getting extra because you're getting this little plastic storage container that you can really just pick up for $5. So sometimes you have to be really careful and see what the prices are before you buy something at a thrift store. So I hope that gives you guys an idea of what you're going to need to start this project. If you have any questions, please leave them down in the comments. I'm going to give you guys at least a week to go ahead and gather all your supplies before we go ahead and dig into this. And we'll start right from the beginning. We'll start on how to get your fabric in the hoop, how to trace your pattern. We're going to do everything from step by step right from the beginning, so that when we're done, you'll have a completely finished project and you can hang it up on your wall or give it for a gift. Once again, any questions, go ahead and leave them down below. And until the next time we do this video, you guys have fun. Bye.